Hello guys, welcome to the weekly review. Let's start with the usual, the Dixie. So let's look at the Dixie on the weekly chart. So I think last week I kind of looked at a potential for this to come down. So it's just following the route now. So it's coming down. We are not yet in the target zone. So that will be the same place I'd expect. We are coming, and I expect us to come down into the zone here. So that is likely to happen on the dollar. The dollar will go down a little bit more before correcting. I think definitely this zone will be a very interesting zone when we get there. So that's the dollar. Let's move on to the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq on a weekly chart, you can see that we are above zero on MACD. We had a big volume, and since that big volume has been kind of tailing off, right? Um, and the week ended with a red candle. Um, Last week, I looked at the potential for us to pull back, right? So we pulled back into the area of interest box. The question is, what now, right? I think I'm going to move this area of interest box down because I think we might end up coming in between here, this zone here, all the way down to close the gap. So the gap is somewhere there. So somewhere here, I think is potential for us to zip down here and then continue going. If I go to 4 hours, for example, I'm going to look at 4 hours. We can see what you can see here is we've hit the tops, right? And we've had this bullish candle. We tried to go up, being rejected of the 50. So I expect us to come back down and come back into that zone here, right? And that's where probably I'll be taking profit on my trade. So that's the Nasdaq. We expect some more downside. And also we closed outside the KC channel and we closed outside the Bollinger as well. So which means we are in an area of weakness. So we closed outside and we tried to bounce back. And next step is for us to go lower again. So we'll go lower than this, 26667. And that hopefully should get us to somewhere here to close this gap here. I think that's what's likely to happen. So that's the Nasdaq for us there. XPX. The XPX on a weekly chart is the same. So, we've kind of gone up and now we are doing our correction. Our area of interest box was here and we've kind of come into that area. If I think maybe I'll go into the daily for us. So the area of interest box was there and we've come into that box. So that box can be moved. We can move it. Let's move the area of interest box now to this area. I think this area will be the zone. That will be the zone, I think. And after here, we would then potentially get bounce, or it could be possible that we come all the way down to the lower part of the Bollinger. But I won't hold my breath on that. I think this place here will be a very well contested area for us. The move to the upside is not done. It's not done yet. So um, I think we come here and we continue going up and we continue going up. So if I go into 4 hours, you can see again, it's very similar to the Nasdaq. What you can see is, we went outside and then quickly came back in and we're now coming back. So I do expect us to come back and come lower and create a divergence into this box, which then provides us the opportunity for us to go back. And that closes the gap, right? So when that happens, if you come into that box, that closes the gap. So that's what I'll be looking out for. And let's look at gold. I think last weekend, I was of the impression the gold will come into this box here. That was where I was expecting it to come into. And because of Trump tariff fears, you can see it's just basically rampaged itself back. Um, where gold is sitting now at the moment, on the weekly is quite strong. We are outside the Bollinger again. So no, we are outside the KC channel, and we kind of testing the Bollinger, which is right here. And what we've done is also it's like these stops here. We kind of hitting these stops. Let's go to 4 hours and see what's happening. See we can make some calls on it based on that. So we've gone up here. We've gone up here. Volume is still strong. Um, hmm, I think gold continues to go up. I think it potentially it continues to kind of go up. We are above the KC channel. We came back to test the KC channel, and we've kind of been rejected off the band. So we're going to go higher, I think. So which means I think we probably end up going higher, either to do a double top. I think so. We end up double topping here. So I move my area of interest now from here to there. I think we do like a double top scenario on gold. Um, or we go slightly higher. And then we'll see what happens after that. I think after that, potentially it will then, collapse properly, I think, on gold. So that's gold. Let's look at the VIX. So the VIX, we had a bit of a volatility, which I think last week I was expecting us to come and test this 200 MA, and that's what we hit that, but we went slightly higher. Um, Now where the VIX is at the moment, this is the weekly chart. So we've closed the gap, and this gap has been closed now. I think there's more downside on the VIX, but let's look at 4 hours to see first, see what it's telling us. So on the 4 hour chart, so we've done the kind of, I would say, level one, level two, and level three. We tried to go outside the band, but we could not go outside the band. And we are struggling here. I think potentially I think it could go up a bit more first. I think yeah, the volatility index could go up a bit more based on, you know, the kind of setup here. The RSI hasn't peaked yet, so I think the VIX potentially goes up a bit more, which means there will be a bit of volatility in the market some point next week. So VIX continues to go up a little bit more. I think if I look on 12 hours, yeah, so I think yeah, it goes up a little bit more. Um, yeah, I think the volatility index goes up a bit more. Let me see if I just pull this off, switch this up, switch it on. Oh, it's interesting. Okay, anyway, so bit more upside on the volatility index. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. So start from the weekly chart. So I think Bitcoin dominance may end up going higher, unfortunately, um, because we are above the KC channel. We are above it. This is a controlling candle, but there is a divergence here between here and here. And the question is, do we just go and do a double top, or do we go slightly higher, or do we just stop here? So I think those are the scenarios I'm looking at. I mean, if you go to 4 hours, for example, you can see that, MACD is ticking up. I think MACD goes up. I think MACD goes up. And this continues to go up. So I think we probably end up either with a double top. I think this goes up a little bit. If it gets here and it's rejected, so if we get rejected off the band here, either the Bollinger Band or the KC channel, then maybe you get double top here. But if I look, yeah, so potential for a double top, or we go slightly higher on the dominance. I mean, the RSIs are still pointing. Even if we just use this one here, this one went higher, that one. So there's a divergence here, which is played out in terms of coming down. Um, I think we will either do a double top or we'll go higher. I think they're double top. If we fail, then we'll go higher. So dominance still looking strong. I mean, the weekly is still looking strong, although there's a good amount of divergence on the on the weekly chart, like here. So you can see here. So like here, we go up, and then the RSI is the highest point, and then we go all the way there, and the RSI from here to here is lower. Then we go higher, it's still lower, we go higher. Still lower. So let's see. Let's see whether we continue to go higher with lower RSI because I think this should collapse itself, but maybe we get here or we get double top. So a little bit more upside on dominance, I think, before any collapse will happen. Um, let's go into total three. Total three, I think this was my area of interest from last week. And we've kind of come into it, kind of come into the area of interest. I think we'll go up higher from here. I think we go higher. So this continues to go up now. If I go into the 4 hours and go and see what's happening on the 4 hours, you can see that we've fallen here, fallen there, gone up, come back here, and we're trying to go again. Let me go on to 12 hours. So we do have a double bottom here, and the RSI is the MACD is down below zero. So I think this continues to go. I think this might go up. Um, Today being a Saturday, I think it goes up. Otherwise, this area will be tested. So if I just this area can easily be tested. We still above the middle. We're still above the middle of the band. So I would say that that zone potentially can be tested before we go bonkers, right? But if we draw a trend line just from here, cut it through there and through here, then we seem to have, yeah, so we seem to have the right, yeah, so here, and so yeah, so there could be maybe one more down into that zone on because if dominance does go up, then this becomes like a double top, and a double top means you're going to come down some more. So hopefully, if it continues to go up, it needs to break these tops. Is it going to do it? That's what we're trying to find out here. Let's get rid of this box. We don't need this box. I mean, we've just only done one level to the upside. Two. No, I think there's more. There's more upside on this. There's more upside. We have a few more legs to the upside. This is not all that we're going to get. We're going to get some more. So we're not done yet. Certainly, we're not done on the daily chart. So one, two. There's a third level. We've done our pullback. There's more, but we could test this point before we end up going again. This point could be an area of interest for me into next week. Bitcoin itself, let's look at the CME chart and see what the CME chart is telling us. If you look at this um, on the weekly chart, so they ended their week at 108,885, and currently Bitcoin is sitting at 109,245. So we are slightly higher than they are. Um, Now, it depends on what happens to Bitcoin over tonight and into tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a bit more clearer as to what it's looking like. But if I'm looking at just purely on their chart, I would say next week, what will happen is we will pull back into here. So if I just get the area of interest from here, and I would say we pull back into there, right? Now, currently, Bitcoin did pull back to 106. It did pull back into that zone around the 106. So we pulled back to about here, 106, I think. 106 point, let me see, what was it? Our pullback came to 106, 800. So, 106, somewhere 106, 800, somewhere there. So, and we are going up. Um, so even if anything, I would say maximum would be the zone. I wouldn't expect us to go below the zone on their chart. So which means there's definitely more upside. You can see here, this is just the beginning of the move. We are not even anywhere near, 70. RSI is not even hit 70 yet. RSI is 69. So we're nowhere near, this move. finishing at all. It's going to go way higher. I think, next week we after the pullback, we're going to go higher. Then the following week we're going to go higher. Then the following week another high. So you're looking at 3 weeks in a row of going high. Similar to how this panned out. And the moment we get outside the band, as soon as we close outside the band, you can expect one, two, three highs, three highs. So, 3 weeks, maybe even four, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You could be playing at the tops for about 6 more weeks, which probably maybe takes us all the way through um, mm, this June to July. I think early July, we could still be playing at the top end of early July. So, we could be all around here at that time and then pull back and then come and retest some of these tops again to then continue going up some more. So let's look at IBIT and see what IBIT is doing and what it's telling us. So the IBIT chart again is very, very bullish. As you can see, they closed quite bullish. Um, they could not close outside the Bollinger or the KC channel. So, um, but it's a very strong candle, which means next week we're likely to go higher. I think you're looking at something like this here. And so next week, maybe you get small pullback. I would say small pullback to maybe to somewhere, maybe let's put it there, somewhere there, and then you continue going up. So this will go up some more. We're not done at all. And then if we go on to the actual BTC chart, so the BTC chart itself, what we can see is I've still got my rise target sitting there around the 124 to 128 zone. So it's still there and we are on our way going. Last week I was expecting us to fall back to somewhere here. I mean, the week is not finished, but I don't think we will get there. I think the best case scenario we would get is we pull back into this wick here. So I think somewhere there we might get, wait on a minute. Okay, we don't want price to go below here. So I think that's what we probably end up getting. Worst case scenario, again, like I say, it's a worst case scenario. We get this pull back to this into the zone, and then we continue going up after that. So potentially pull back into the zone, go up. That's Sunday, probably Sunday into Monday. It's probably where probably that happens. Um, so that's Bitcoin, and we'll do an altcoin video separately tomorrow.